I feel like I'm surrounded by people who are going missing. It's really kind of odd and creepy.
6 missing people in and around the Idyllwild mountain community in recent months. But is there a connection?
The Riverside Sheriff's Department confirms tonight they're investigating the disappearance of 6 people in and around Idyllwild. So far, though, there is no indication of foul play.
Tonight, a mystery in some local mountains. 5 women and 1 man have disappeared without a trace since July, all near Idyllwild.
The people are from different families in different towns. The sheriff for now has no idea where any of them are.
Hello, friends. Today we're talking about strange disappearances in Idyllwild. Idyllwild is one of 3 adjacent unincorporated communities in the San Jacinto Mountains located in Riverside, California. Recently, this beautiful and scenic neighborhood has been in the public eye and on the radar of anyone in the paranormal community who knows anything about the missing phenomena happening around the globe. Though many hikers, campers, and wanderers have gone missing in the area from time to time, mainly due to accidents, recently 6 people have gone missing over the span of just a few months. As the news spreads about these missing people, more and more stories of strange happenings and goings-on in these woods are being brought forward. For statistical purposes, Idyllwild has been combined with another of these small communities called Pine Cove, and this seems to be the epicenter where the trouble's been happening and where most of the alleged encounters have been. Today, we're going to focus on the aforementioned 6 people who disappeared, though 2 were found, and try and see what connections we can make between these disappearances and the missing phenomena we're also infatuated with and mystified by. 27-year-old Vanessa Vlasic was reported missing by her sister on July 31st, 2020, at around 5 p.m. from the Pine Cove area. Vanessa's sister, who lives in Virginia, said she hadn't spoken to her sister since March, but knew she was in the Idyllwild area as this is where she was last seen on June 21st. Other than the fact that's where she was found, there is no other information still to this day. Many people, especially residents in the area, are left not only scratching their heads in confusion, but angry at the complete lack of information and the breakdown in communication, not only between law enforcement and the community, but also between them and the media, and therefore the media and the community as well. Why are the police being so extremely tight-lipped about things which are always released right away, such as the circumstances under which Vanessa was found? They won't even say where she was found or how. There's literally been nothing at all ever released about this except that she was, in fact, found. Period. Another one of the missing 6 in idyllic Idyllwild, who the same is true for the lack of details concerning where she was found and when, also the circumstances of which she was eventually found, was Jade Kimmerer, who was vacationing in the beautiful and scenic area by herself. Jade went missing on July 22, 2020, when her car broke down in Idyllwild. Her family stated they had last spoken to her that day around 10 a.m. She had been staying at the Bluebird Cottage Inn right there in Idyllwild and had checked out earlier that morning. She was driving her 4-door white Kia Optima with painted black wheels and what's referred to as an aftermarket Kia emblem on the back. A friend of Jade's posted on social media that she was supposed to be fixing her car so she could travel back home to Ohio. She didn't have her phone with her, but it was speculated she made the call from the cottage and then went about making the necessary repairs to her vehicle. No one has seen or heard from her since. Once again, there is no more information at all or any details relating to the case even now, almost a year later. A private investigator named Luis Bolanos is just as confused as everyone else about how the police are handling the situation of not only the people who are still missing, but also of these 2 women who were found. He stated, "They're privy to more information than we are from the outside, but you would think it would help them calm the community because I know for a fact people are concerned." One of the biggest mysteries about this particular case is why Jade was found all the way in Anaheim, California, which is approximately 92 miles and almost 2 hours away. Her vehicle was found still broken down right where she had last been seen working on it. So how did she get to Anaheim, and why had she gone? About a month before these 2 young ladies were reported missing, on June 15, 2020, a woman named Melissa Lane was seemingly gone without a trace as well. She was said to have driven the very short distance from Idyllwild to Pine Cove to go for a hike and had left her cell phone and belongings back at her boyfriend's house, according to her sister on Facebook. Her family said she was an avid hiker and didn't have any particular destination in mind that day. Now, I'm noticing a pattern here already of at least 3 people who, for one reason or another, didn't have their cell phone with them at the time they went missing. Melissa's family, though obviously very concerned, are hopeful she will also be found safe and seemingly well. There are no additional details at this time in this case either. Could the police be hiding something major? What have they stumbled upon here? They have released a statement where they claim that none of these 6 cases are connected in any way other than the area from which they disappeared, and it's all a big coincidence. Melissa was the 4th person to seemingly vanish without a trace in the Idyllwild/Pine Cove area since March of 2020. Rosaria Garcia is a 73-year-old Hispanic female who may suffer from Alzheimer's disease or dementia. She was last seen at her home on July 7th on the 26,000 block of Catherine Street in Hemet, California. She was wearing a brown shirt and blue jeans. This is considered a part of the Idyllwild missing investigation because that is where, unfortunately, Rosario's remains were found. It's unknown why she decided to take the drive to Idyllwild that day. Her car was found 2 days after she was last seen alive, 22 miles away from where deputies were dispatched regarding reports of an abandoned vehicle. Upon further inspection, the unoccupied vehicle was registered to Rosaria, but an initial search of the area turned up no clues as to whereabouts. The remains of her body were found in January of this year, around 6 months after she was reported missing. Why did the police wait 2 whole weeks from when they found the remains to actually go and retrieve them? The police publicly stated that the area was snow-covered and the conditions were not safe to go on a retrieval mission on the day it was reported her remains were found, which was on or about January 22nd. Could this be another case of inclement weather coming seemingly out of nowhere to thwart an investigation into a missing person case? We have seen this many, many times before. In fact, this is one of the set of very specific parameters we look at in this community when investigating disappearances, which may be a part of the missing persons phenomena happening in places just like Idyllwild all over the world. While some people refuse to even consider people with diminished mental capacity, such as Rosaria, being a part of this and won't investigate it further, at least not on a paranormal level, someone who has such capacity, this could be a mistake. After all, we must look at each situation and each person as an individual case, while also looking at each individual situation as part of a whole. The disappearance of these 6 people, the ones who were found safe, the ones whose remains were found, and also the ones who went missing and have yet to be found at all, have one definite thing in common: Idyllwild. Aside from saying there is no evidence of foul play, the police remain equally as tight-lipped as in the other cases when it comes to discussing actual pertinent details. Things like, what was she doing there? Did she go freely? Was she forced? Those are great questions, but unfortunately, they all still don't have answers. On Wednesday, March 4th, 2020, a man named Roy Preyfogle was reported as missing under similar circumstances. Roy was 52 years old and had left his home at approximately 1 p.m. to go for a short day hike in the Pine Cove area. He was last seen at the Pine Cove markets 5.5 hours later and was seemingly fine and in good spirits. He's never been seen or heard from again, though his car was found. The vehicle was found on Acorn Lake, and though there was an intense 6-day search, nothing else but his backpack has ever been found. His backpack was found lying in some brush off the side of Webster Trail on the 2nd or 3rd day of the search, and all of its pockets were still zipped closed. Inside the backpack, investigators found Roy's cell phone, his fire hat, some snacks, and an empty juice bottle. Authorities checked the phone and found that the last photos taken were of a creek in an unknown location. The exact creek couldn't be pinned down, but it is known the pictures were taken the same day Roy was last seen. Why would his backpack just seemingly be thrown aside like that? It looked almost as though someone had purposely tried to hide it away in the bushes. Aside from saying there are no signs of foul play involved and Roy Preyfogle was more likely injured and unable to get himself to safety, the police are remaining tight-lipped about this disappearance and subsequent investigation as well. The final person involved in this bizarre cluster of disappearances is Lydia Dia Abrams. Lydia was reported missing from Mountain Center on June 7, 2020. She had been walking on her 160-acre ranch when she just seemingly vanished. For 3 days after she was reported missing, authorities searched her ranch but found nothing. Dia is described as 5 foot 5 inches tall and weighed 130 pounds at the time of her disappearance. She was last seen wearing a black and turquoise jacket with a yellow shirt and blue jeans. Once again, as with the other cases, the police have released no additional details or information regarding Lydia's disappearance. She was 65 years old when she vanished and has blonde hair and blue eyes. Her 2 adult children had launched a joint civil suit against the 2 people named as trustees to Dia's ranch, additional land and belongings. Those in control of her estate, who are now living on the ranch where she disappeared from, saying they do not have the rights to the property, but that they, her children, should have legal rights to it instead. The one trustee said she, meaning Dia, made me promise, as well as several other people, that the children would not be allowed in the home because the first thing that would happen if she was gone is they would come in and take everything.
Tonight, an update on 6 people who disappeared in the town of Idyllwild in the past 5 months. 2 have now been tracked down. Jade Kemmerer, a 30-year-old mother, disappeared from the Bluebird Cottage Inn on August 2nd. Detectives say they've located her as well as 27-year-old Vanessa Vlasic, who vanished back on July 31st. And that leaves the whereabouts of millionaire Lydia Abrams of Apple Canyon, 73-year-old Rosario Garcia of Hemet, Roy Prefogel of Pine Cove, and Melissa Lane of Idyllwild still unknown.
Well, there you have it, friends. What do you think of these strange disappearances? Is there something bigger going on here? How do these 6 strange disappearances in the Idyllwild area tie together? I look forward to reading your thoughts. We do ask that you please remain respectful in the comment section. Until we meet again, be good to yourselves and each other. I'm Steve Stockton, and I'll talk to you next time.